finna get your ass the game, man. You know I break it down. Come on, man, you know it's Bain.
Yo, what's good, everybody? Welcome back to Bain Break It Down Forex. It's your boy Big Bain in this thing. You guys guessed it, another week, another opportunity for us to make some money in the Forex market. So let's get right to it. All right, boom, over on the dollar, guys. I'm expecting a rise simply because we have a nice inverted head and shoulders here on the 2-hour time frame. So I expect price to push up, potentially give us another little push down before eventually getting up to this level of supply. So again, this week coming, which will be the 8th, I believe, starting that Monday, so possibly the 7th, that Sunday when the market opens. We typically won't get a lot of movement on the dollar on Sunday, but Monday and the rest of the week we do have economic news for the dollar. Wednesday being the big day with FOMC, I believe, and a few other days we do have dollar news. So you know, that'll be the day, middle of the week, which is typical, where we'll see a lot of movement on the dollar. All right, so you may see a little choppiness up until Wednesday to when things will take off. All right, but so far things are looking bullish on the dollar. All right, over to the JPY, and you guys can see we consolidated for a long time. We're at the support level to where we can start to rise. So because of that, again, I'm looking for the JPY index to be bullish as well. All right, moving over to odd dollar. All right, and for the most part, guys, I'm bearish on odd dollar because the dollar looks bullish. All right, so I believe we made our high and we'll potentially get lower on odd dollar, but the key is being able to see that change of character here on the lower time frame, which it looks like we did get right about here. All right, so we broke that low, giving us a change of character to the downside. All right, so this will give you your supply area here. All right, and you'll be looking for your selling opportunities from that location. All right, so this week you have a great opportunity, right, to get in on a sell on the odd dollar with a very nice stop loss and take profit. All right, put in a little position on halfway in the supply, but stop right above it, less than, that's not even a pip or two. All right, so we'll just crank it up to 10 pips. All right, give a little wiggle room, and again, guys, just the 1 to 2 will do you justice, but we'll aim for the area that we broke, which will get us about 60 some odd pips on odd dollar from that higher time frame. Again, we could get deeper, you never know. Again, you know, we do have news coming out this week, but just know as of right now, the odd dollar is looking good for a push down. So I'm bearish on the odd dollar. All right, moving over to euro dollar, same exact thing. My team already sold it on Friday, I believe, and that day we pushed down. So I do expect euro dollar to continue falling. Right, so we may obviously get here and turn around, but getting down to that low, you're looking at about 50 pips possibly out of that, but you can see imbalance sitting below these equal lows, as well as a nice unmitigated demand area. So from where we are, we can push further down and get about 80 pips out of that move. All right, bearish on euro dollar. All right, moving over to pound dollar, we broke the high, pushed up, swept a previous high over here to the left. So you can see with that wick rejection and then price staying below that we have a good opportunity or potential for the pound dollar to continue falling. All right, so looking at this from a lower time frame, you guys can see that we got just a little bit of a head and shoulders, right? Left shoulder, head, right shoulder. So the opposite of what the dollar has with the inverted head and shoulders, right? We have a regular head and shoulders here on GU. All right, so again, because of that, that is a bearish reversal chart pattern where you're getting it at a previous high, right? So there's your confluence, right? We just need to break the neckline of this head and shoulders, and then we'll continue heading down. Either way, my team is already in it for the sell. We're up 39 pips or maybe 15 pips or so. And I'm still bearish on pound dollar. All right, so moving over to New Zealand dollar, looking at this from a higher time frame, and I can already see same exact makeup, right? So we had the change where we were going in a downtrend, we shifted to uptrend, but it was mainly for the pullback to the supply area. So now guys, we need to get that change of character on the lower time frame to sell New Zealand dollar, and we'll get it once price breaks below this low. All right, so not quite ready yet for the reversal, but still coming from a very good again, you can see that it may want to push up to this swing and take out, you know, or mitigate that supply at that area. So we may get a little push up before we get that push down, but ultimately guys, it's looking really good for a selling opportunity on New Zealand dollar. All right, so just keep that in mind and go for what you know. All right, bearish on New Zealand dollar. All right, moving over to dollar CAD. All right, and we sold dollar CAD. I gave it to you guys in my watch list, and we absolutely killed it. Take profit got smashed over 200 pips. Right, and now it's seeming like it's still falling at the moment. And here are, you know, our support levels, right, where we could potentially get to or reverse from. All right, so these two areas are what we'll be looking to see if dollar CAD will respect and start to rise. All right, huge imbalance to fill, and then the dollar index itself is looking bullish, so we may get the rise on that. Watch out for that. All right, bullish on dollar CAD. All right, dollar CHF. All right, okay, so we broke a high and we swept the previous high, and now we've made a higher low, and this is a bullish engulfing candle. It's taking up, it took this candle one move to do what these three candles did, you know, in 3 hours. It took this one candle 1 hour to do that, and we're still in uptrend structure. So I'm definitely going to be bullish on dollar CHF. Yes, we did take a sell previously, but we'll be closing that out, and then we'll be looking for the buy on dollar CHF, potentially to this swing high here. All right, so looking at roughly 23 pips for that, but you know, getting to a higher time frame, we can probably go for this high, right? And you're looking at 50 pips for that, so not a whole lot on dollar CHF. All right, and then at the same token, we do want to see a clean break above this high to start looking for bullish opportunities. All right, because we can still fall from here, just depending, you know, on how we get the reaction at that area. All right, so a little mix on dollar CHF, but bullish for now. All right, moving over to dollar JPY, and I'm bearish. All right, so we broke the low, made the new low, and we pulled back to our supply area. So the way I see this is dollar JPY is going to probably tap a little deeper into this level of supply, and then we'll get a major drop to the downside. So you want to look to set yourself a sell limit order in this supply area, stops above it, right, and then aiming for this low that'll get you 128 pips on UJ. All right, bearish on UJ. Okay, over to pound odd, and I'm bearish, but I do want to see a retracement back to the supply area before I sell it. 15 pip stop loss for 215 pip take profit. All right, my team already sold pound odd from somewhere over here, and we made a good, you know, made a good amount so far. But now, like I mentioned, we'll probably get a push up first, so you can buy it out the gate to get about 100 pips up, and then once you get to this area, sell it, and that'll give you roughly your 215 pips to the downside. All right, I'm bearish on pound odd. Watch out for the rise first. All right, moving over to pound CAD. All right, and pound CAD. My team sold that also, made a good amount, right? We're up 148 pips, right? And I do expect it to kind of get to this low, but it may take a breather at any one of these lows that it's getting close to, right? So with that, we may get a potential retracement or possibly even a reversal, right? But just something to go and fill them balance that it made on this massive push down. All right, so wait to start seeing rejection at these areas and a change of character from down to up before you look for your buying opportunity. All right, for right now, pound CAD is still bearish. All right, moving over to pound CHF. All right, and looking at this from the 2-hour time frame, we can see that, you know, we're at a nice level of supply. But getting into the details here on the 15-minute, we can see that we got a little bit of a rising channel, right, which is a bearish reversal pattern. We're creating a little bit of a head and shoulders here at this supply zone, and then we had a change of character right here with changing from uptrend structure to potentially downtrend. We also got the pullback with nice rejection into that supply area. Pound CHF looks very good for a selling opportunity right now, and you'll get about 50 pips out of this if you just aim for the area that price broke previously, which was here. But if we, you know, aim for the gusto, all right, which is that previous low, you're looking at about 124 pips to the downside on pound CHF, right? But definitely a very good setup for the sell right now. I'm bearish. All right, moving over to pound JPY. And like I mentioned, I believe the JPY index is going to rise. So I believe that GJ will fall. All right, so we got a nice change of character here on the lower time frame. All right, breaking this low, making the new low, and retracing back to the supply area that we see here. So guys, I think once the market opens Sunday, we will gap down and continue falling on GJ for well over, you know, that's 100 pips just on that move. But looking at it from a higher time frame, we can get a huge drop all the way down, and we're talking, you know, 500-600 pips respectively, right, on GJ. All right, so definitely bearish on GJ, and it's ready to rock, so don't miss out on it when the market opens. All right, moving over to pound New Zealand, and I'm bullish, right? Expecting, we just had a change of character here, all right, from down to up. I'm expecting us to fill the imbalance, tap into demand, possibly even the demand that sits below it, which is where my position is, right? And then I'll take it back up for 578 points on pound New Zealand. All right, I'm bullish. All right, silver, right, consolidated, having a hard time breaking above these highs, and because the dollar looks bullish, silver could definitely start to retrace, right, and even get to this area where we previously broke, right? So we have a great selling opportunity on silver, but you definitely you don't want to take it with a tight stop, as we could still see silver push up even as the dollar is rising. All right, correlation does not always correlate, plus we're in, you know, very uncertain economic times, which causes safe havens like gold and silver to keep rising. All right, so just keep that in mind. If you want to sell, do a very tight stop loss and aim for at least the area that it broke. Even though it could potentially get a little lower, this is just a safe place to take your money. All right, because looking left, it shot up the last time it was there. That's why. All right, move bearish on silver over to gold. Same exact thing, right? So we got a nice bit of a trend line that has liquidity sitting behind it, and our highs have failed to get higher. They're getting a little lower. All right, so with that, right, we have potential of gold falling. All right, so you want to look for your selling opportunities. Right now it looks good for a buy right? Rejecting the trend line and the support area, we can rise up. But then maybe from this area, you could potentially see some kind of opportunity for a sell or a retracement, all right? But at the moment, gold still looks bullish, so I'm going to be bullish on gold coming out the week, all right? Moving over to natural gas. Natural gas broke the high, made the new high, so we most likely are going to retrace back to these areas of demand that we see here on the 15-minute time frame clearly, right, before we get another rise on natural gas. So for now, bearish on natural gas. All right, moving over to crude oil. And on crude oil, all right, we're still bullish. All right, so we may get a little push back into demand before we take off. But I do see crude oil, hitting some numbers to the upside. All right, bullish on oil. All right, big dogs. All right, indices. Okay, SPY. All right, we do have a nice rising wedge into a major level of supply, a major swing high, and this is a bearish reversal pattern. But we need to see SPY break below this area to have confirmation that it wants to continue dropping, because as of right now, SPY is still bullish. Okay, so even with all of this, we broke this high, made this new high, but as we retrace back, we still have not broken this strong demand area. All right, you can see the rejection, so most likely we're going to push up on SPY as the week begins. But if there's any price action that leads to SPY breaking below this low, you can best believe that we're going to get a major move to the downside. All right, so it's not ready for the sell right now, but when it gets higher, you definitely want to look at your potential of selling it from there. But if you get, if it doesn't push higher and it just absolutely comes to the downside and breaks below this low, guys, load up. All right, because it's getting ready to be a movie on the indices in terms of SPY falling. All right, but for right now, I'm bullish. Okay, but if I get any kind of break below this low, right, I'm going to be big time bearish on SPY. So just keep that in mind as you guys get into this week for these indices. All right, bullish for now, but breaking below that low, big time bearish. All right, 365 points on the board if we drop on SPY. All right, moving over to NAS, and same thing, right? I just expect a little bit of a push up first into supply, and then from there I'll be looking for selling opportunities. But if we happen to break below this low or this low, I'm definitely going to take that sell when it shows up. All right, either way, but just with that, is giving us more confirmation that it wants to fall than what it is giving us right now. Is still bullish structure. All right, so stay bullish on the indices for now until again we get the charts to show us that we have a change from up to down. And at that point, guys, you're looking at roughly 2,000 points on NAS. All right, major moves. All right, for a major bag, if you can set yourself up. All right, trying to get you pre-ready. All right, but you got to be pre-ready. All right, so last but not least, US 30. You can see same exact thing. We're retracing back to the supply area, but it's still bullish. Right, we may get a little drop until demand and then rise right back up there. So that could be a little tricky also, but just know once we get here, right, if we start getting any kind of changes to the downside with confirmation, right, breaking lows, guys, you're going to be looking at almost 3,000 points on US 30. Again, these are quit your job kind of setups. All right, if you got any amount of money that you can take a standard lot out on something like US 30, even a mini lot will do you justice. But ultimately, we have great opportunities that I hope you guys don't miss out on these indices. Right, SPY, NAS, US 30 probably are all going to give a push up for the first 2 days, but then when FOMC comes, right, that's where we may get the drop, all right, on the indices, depending on what the chart shows. So just, make sure that you're looking, you're looking at it right, got your alert set, and you're ready to take advantage. All right. But yeah, in the meantime, in between time, ladies and gents, y'all know what it is. It's your boy. Peace.
Wanna get money? Wanna get paid? Master Forex, like a sensei? Then you know you gotta come and swing my way. And if you wanna fast forward, hit replay.